How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Conti and Nick. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The first time they go offense, they take Jordan Love? They take Jordan Love!
Listen, Matisse Thybulle will lock up CP3.
Oh my god.
Chris Paul.
Oh my god.
Chris Paul, baby. Right, Will?
Nope, I totally disagree. Look. Welcome back to Conti and Nick. I'm Will Nicholson. Alongside me, as always, is Gino Conti. We got a special guest on today. We got Andrew Kilbin, who's the first guest that we have at Bridgewater State University. You know, actually here. You know, we've had guests before, obviously.
Yeah, we've obviously had
he's
guests.
the first one at Bridgewater.
Yeah, so Will obviously goes to college, and whenever he's on break or whatever, like an extended period of time, he'll take all of his technical stuff, all of his like electronics from Bridgewater to home, back and forth.
Yeah.
And we've never had a guest at Bridgewater. So it's pretty awesome to have you here. I remember Andrew about like a couple hours before we started last week was like, y'all are listening. What the hell did he say? Y'all are leaving me out. Y'all are ducking me. Or whatever. And
So here he is.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? I'm honored to be a part of this podcast. The first member at BSU. This is great.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great episode.
It's gonna be fun for sure. I mean, you see the thumbnail, you see the title, obviously. We're talking about the Rams. You know, they just won the Super Bowl.
We gotta talk about this game, man.
Yeah. Oh boy, do we. So your predictions, because I know I have a whiteboard out there. I can confirm it. We had a little Super Bowl party here, and everyone threw a prediction. My prediction was 28-24 Bengals, which isn't super far off. You know, obviously the Bengals didn't win, but that was my prediction.
Yeah,
What was yours?
both teams were in the 20s.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't have a score, one thing I will tell you, I was begrudgingly picking the Rams. Okay, because
I know why.
I'm not even I'm not even gonna give myself credit for it, man. Like but I did pick them at the beginning of the season. They were my
You did.
I
actually, you know what, you did say that.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna give myself credit for it because I wanted the Bengals to win.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, all right, I can't like just abandon and ditch a season-long prediction at like the 11th hour. You know what I mean?
I didn't have a horse in this race at all. I didn't. I was happy with whatever team won, but the Bengals have been more fun to watch personally. So I should
absolutely.
Did you have a prediction going into the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much with everybody else. I mean, I think the Rams ultimately like the better team, you know, but obviously Cinderella story, the Bengals, you know, it was fun them to win. Pretty much everybody besides Detroit and LA wanted the Bengals to win. But
and I will say one thing about this game, man. Like, I read this. If you don't believe me, it was off of Twitter. Like I don't have a Twitter, for all of you know. I'm very I'm very anti-Twitter. I hate it. But a tweet popped up because I looked up like NFL, like what time is a Super Bowl, and then underneath there was a tweet that said, "I think this is like the first game where either team could win and we'll be happy."
Yeah.
You know, because there was really no like Tom Brady when everyone's sick of seeing Brady win.
Yeah.
There was really no player that everyone hates.
It's a very refreshing Super Bowl.
It was a completely refreshing Super Bowl, and obviously, in my opinion, it wasn't the greatest game in the world. It was a good game.
It was a good
game that had a great finish.
Yes.
In my opinion, it was a good game with a great finish. But honestly, like I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of a quality of a game, just like you said, Andrew, for like the refreshingness of the matchup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, I mean, if we can kind of jump into the legacy here, I obviously I picked the Bengals, a big Joe Burrow guy. I still think that Joe Burrow is going to be very, very successful from this year. Obviously, you know, the next couple of years are going to tell. And I know Gino doesn't like to throw the golden jacket on people, and I'm not doing that. I hate actually when people do that.
Please forgive me for not calling someone a Hall of Famer.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's totally fair. I don't like that people do it too. Well, Gino does hate the media and all the Joe Burr and stuff like that. They're calling him the Tiger King, stuff like that.
Oh my! It's not even a tiger. Oh, the Bengal Tiger. Yeah.
And he was an LSU Tiger.
Okay, that's fair.
I like to call the Bengals LSU North. That's my personal.
Yeah,
favorite.
that was funny. I remember you said that a couple weeks ago.
I love that one, LSU North. But I don't mind all the media stuff. I work in, you know, that whole thing. It's whatever. It's cringy. It's always what it's going to be. I do like Joe Burrow, and he didn't play an awful game, but he also didn't do anything to win the game. Which, you know, when we think about it, he hasn't had a full year of playing football. Like, this was his very first year where he was healthy pretty much the whole way through. So there's improvement to be made, definitely. But as far as the Rams go, also to finish up on the Bengals, get this man an O-line. Please.
Yes.
Please get this man an
Let me tell you right now, we are not done with the Bengals.
Oh, we're not.
Oh, we are not done with the Bengals.
We're not done.
Will just said to finish up with the Bengals. We are not done with the Bengals.
My take on the Bengals.
Yeah,
my take on the Bengals.
I very rarely tell Will that, because Will does lots of the technical operations.
That's
and everything that you see on the screen, all the Conti and Nick and the Rams and McVay with everything. Will does all other stuff that I don't even know how to do. Okay, so I try not to throw my weight. I'm telling you, we are not done talking about the Bengals.
I knew we weren't done. My last little comment as the Bengals is O-line, and then I'm gonna let Gino go berserk on them. As far as the Rams go, though, I am so happy for all of these guys that won rings. Like I said, I didn't care who was gonna win this game regardless. I'm so happy that Aaron Donald gets a ring. Matt Stafford, who rotted away in Detroit, gets 1 year in a functional franchise, and he gets a ring. McVay, who kind of choked in the Super Bowl the last time he was in it, only scoring 3 points, I think three.
13-3 was the final score.
Yep. Yeah, so he finally gets a ring. OBJ scores a touchdown, gets hurt, and he still gets a ring, and that's a deserved ring from OBJ. He earned that one. So many guys, like Eric Weddle, comes out of retirement, gets the ring.
Good for him, man.
So many
Eric
people,
Weddle's good.
Oh yeah,
he's one of the most underrated players of our generation.
So many people got a ring, and I'm very happy that all of them got rings. It's all deserved, you know what I mean? And like you said, this was refreshing as far as the matchup goes, but it's also refreshing to see all these people who just didn't have it going for them this year in some way, shape, or form. Or in the past, I mean, like Stafford in Detroit, Aaron Donald, people were saying if he's ever going to get a ring, because no one thought the Rams were going to be here like pre-Stafford trade again, especially with Jared Goff. OBJ in Cleveland and McVay, it's like, oh, is that
Robert
receiving
Woods
core?
goes down?
Yeah, Robert Woods
nice
goes
voice
down.
crack by me, by the way.
No, it's fine. No, like I said, there's so much adversity that this team had to overcome throughout the entire year. Robert Woods going down, OBJ getting hurt. There's so much. They were down for most of the game in the second half. So much that they had to overcome through the season and this game in general. I think it's well deserved, and that's all I'll say about it until Gino said something outlandish.
So hold on, before we go, Isaiah Prince is a bona fide bum since Ohio State. Yeah, I agree. But Cam Tate, there you go in the comments. I love Cam Tate and Don Housey for the most part, always being active in the comments. I love it. So before we really get into a heated debate, I'll ask both of you. You think Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Famer now? And would he have done one even if he didn't win?
He wouldn't have been, no. I don't think he would have been. But I don't know.
Ultimately, I'm going to have to go with no.
Yeah.
Even now?
I don't think it's enough. I think
tough.
you guys see Sherman posting on Twitter about his stats. You look at the stats, it doesn't look like it's enough. I don't know.
Well, Sherman needs to chill out too.
Yeah,
he's got a mouth,
he
but he
didn't
made up a
just
good
get
point.
burned by Mac Jones, a rookie quarterback who literally targeted him, and many other quarterbacks did too. That's the one that I remember for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget. I mean, I think, Richard Sherman definitely is at the end of his career. But I'd say even up until his last year in San Francisco, I mean, he was still the number one corner on a team that was one throw away from winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And cornerbacks, I know I talk about how the defensive line is the most important on the defense, and I still hold that to be true. But having a guy like Richard Sherman along with a great defensive line is still invaluable. And let's not forget, Richard Sherman was the number one corner on that team when they almost won the Super Bowl if Jimmy G didn't miss Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely, right now, right here, you're right, Will. Mac Jones did expose him, but he's at the end of his career, and he's always known to be his own corner
My
anyway,
point
so.
is he's in no position to be talking shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What? Why? What does he have against Matthew Stafford?
I mean,
What
there was
did Stafford do to
probably
him?
a Lions versus Seahawks game where Calvin Johnson just bodied him.
But come on, why? What did Stafford do?
You know
to
how
Richard Sherman?
You know how Richard Sherman is.
Yeah,
bro.
but why Stafford? Why didn't he it's so weird. Why Matthew it's such a happy moment for Stafford. Everyone's like, oh, he gets an accolade or something. And then Sherman just comes out of nowhere and it's just he's not Hall of Fame though. What?
Yeah.
What?
Bro, I mean, that's just him keeping himself relevant, you know?
Yeah, but dude,
stay in the news.
it's ridiculous. Remember when Edelman got his, Super Bowl MVP or whatever, and everyone was like, "Oh, does this make him Hall of Fame? Does this make him Hall of Fame?" I didn't hear Richard Sherman say shit.
Yeah.
Like, why now? Like, what makes every single time someone, like a big name wins a Super Bowl, it's, like, what does this mean for the future? And Richard Sherman just now decided to be like, he ain't Hall of Fame. Like, what? Who cares? I don't know.
So you said no, Andrew?
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I'll say yes. Okay, because I understand that in terms of rings wise. Like, you know me, I go more off of the rings that more than anything. That's why I remember in our top 10 of all time, I had Bill Russell over Wilt Chamberlain. Okay, I mean, to me, when we talk about great, there's a difference between greatness and there's a difference between better.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of greatness, in terms of rings, I think we should measure him up to Eli Manning. Do we think Eli Manning belongs in the Hall of Fame? Yes or no? Or maybe whether or not he belongs, or do you guys think he will make it into the Hall of Fame?
Isn't he already in the Hall of Fame?
Eli, no. Eli's not.
I think he will. I think, he's probably, his eligibility isn't ready yet, probably.
Yeah.
But I don't think he should be in, but he will be in because of those rings. And he beat Brady, 07 Patriot, like, he's got that.
So, I think it needs context, though, because I'll say this. I think Edelman belongs in the Hall of Fame, and I don't think Eli Manning does. And is that, like, a little, I mean, it's context with everything. Like, Julian Edelman was a big part of those Super Bowls, you know what I mean? And Eli Manning really wasn't. Like, it was more of the defense that was just getting to Brady with that defensive line.
Well, as much as I hate to give Eli credit, he was very clutch in those postseason runs. My man went into Lambeau in like negative 10-degree weather, beat Aaron Rodgers, and he beat Brett Favre, man.
Well, Aaron Rodgers hates to play on the playoffs.
They were wild card teams both years, right? When they won both those rings.
Yeah, I think they were both wild card teams, man. Like, to me, in my opinion, like I don't like Eli Manning, and in terms of regular season, like career starting success, he quite literally is 500. I think his starting record is like 400 and 400. Or something like that. Like, he quite literally is the definition of an average player in the regular season. But when he made it to that big stage, more often than not, Eli Manning came through. Yeah. Okay, and what happened? Matthew Stafford now has one less ring than Eli Manning, yes. But I anticipate the Rams have one more championship run left in them. As Cam Tate's saying, I want to see 2 to 3 more legit postseason runs before the Hall of Fame. That's completely fair. But, I mean, who's to say if they get OBJ, they get him back, they get Robert Woods back. Those are 2 very legit receivers that you're getting. Who's going to cover him, Cooper Kupp, and Robert Woods? Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and they have Tyler Higbee, and they're going to have a big hit probably because I think Andrew Whitworth's going to retire. But I think that this team has about 1 to 2 more years of legitly contending. Who's to say if he wins one more, he's much better than Eli Manning, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all agree that he's a lot better than Eli, right?
Yeah.
In terms of just talent.
I mean, if he got in, well, I wouldn't be against it because Eli will get in, Like, as much all of us hate to say it, he probably will get in off those rings. And if Stafford got in, I wouldn't be opposed to it because he's a better player than Eli, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the whole thing, too. Because a lot of people question Phillip Rivers. Does he belong in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think he does.
I think he does. I think Phillip Rivers for sure is one of the most underrated quarterbacks of our generation, and unfortunately, because he doesn't have a ring, he's going to be forgotten about. Okay, Trent Dilfer, he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, Phillip Rivers,
but he has a ring.
Phillip Rivers doesn't pull out of anything, so why start with?
Oh Jesus!
why start with the Hall of Fame?
Man, you wanted to talk about editing when Jake was on, man, and then you pull this.
It's Phillip Rivers. If it was anyone else but Phillip Rivers, it's fine. But it's Phillip Rivers.
And we can talk about Antonio Cromartie.
Yeah.
He has like 13 kids, bro.
Yeah, exactly. To get back to Stafford, all right, let's go over his stats right now and kind of whether he's Hall of Fame. So for his passing, his career, we'll call that 50,000. Right?
He's 5 yards off of 50,000.
Well, he's got 50,000 yards, 63% completion percentage. He's thrown 323 touchdowns to 161 interceptions with a long of 87, I guess, with a rating of 91.1. I mean, 1 Super Bowl ring, 1 Pro Bowl, and I think that pretty much does it, right? Those are the.
But I mean, you got to take into account like just the teams that he was on. I know everyone's like he had Megatron, but I mean, really and truly, like how was that team around him? Not good at all. You know what I mean? Not good at all. And everyone's like, oh well.
What was the Megatron year? It was something.
He had Megatron for quite some time.
What was the year he broke it?
Or 14. Might have been before that.
I don't remember what year specifically.
Okay, I forget.
Okay, but yes, he did have, and everyone likes to criticize Matthew Stafford because it's like, oh yeah, and he's had 2 of the best receiver seasons in history.
He's made
is the
both of them,
is the
honestly.
quarterback not a well no
Yeah.
like Calvin Johnson is one of the greatest
I'm
of all
just
time.
saying-
He didn't make Matthew Stafford did not make.
No,
Calvin
he didn't
Johnson.
make them, but he was still a part of them. Like,
Yes,
He knows how to feed them.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
but I will
Absolutely.
say Matthew Stafford made Cooper Cup. Because
Sure,
what was Cooper?
sure.
Because what was Cooper Cup before this? He was a good, solid wide receiver.
Yeah.
Matthew
There's also
Stafford
a
made
blessing
Cooper
in
Cup.
disguise that Robert Woods went down this year. That really
Yeah.
helped out Cooper Cup.
It
Ultimately,
did.
he's the story of the Super Bowl, winning the MVP and all that. You
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I think it's a blessing in disguise for OBJ too.
Yeah.
Because now I think the
Saved
Rams.
his career.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
really
no,
did.
no. I'm saying him getting hurt. Because
No, I'm saying it saved his career. OBJ, because
the Rams. Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Dude,
So,
OBJ was not needed on the Rams. He was going to be like
well,
the
I
third,
think he was
fourth string
needed.
guy.
Well, they signed
Yeah.
him because Robert Woods went down.
That's true.
Don't
But
remember.
we didn't know that at the time though.
Yes, we did.
No,
Remember?
we
So
didn't.
Robert
'Cause
Woods tore his
was the one who told
ACL.
them to go. Remember, they were like, "Oh, I was on FaceTime
Yeah,
with him."
but Robert Woods tore his ACL, right? And then OBJ came in because Von Miller was like, "Yo, come here! Like, we need that number 2."
Yeah.
And then because I don't know if you remember, but they asked OBJ, "How close are you to going to the Pats, or how close were you?" And he goes, "Very close."
Yeah.
And then ultimately the decision because I think he wanted a ring, and they were more likely to get a ring. So what I was saying is, I think OBJ getting hurt for the Rams is a blessing in disguise. Because then they could re-sign him for cheap because his
Yeah.
play was going to get him a big contract elsewhere.
He should be
Now he can
back,
stay,
right?
yeah.
He's gonna be back. He's got time to rehab. Right?
So I think he's probably going to come back with, I'd say about early mid next season.
how
because-
long is an
In ACL, it's about 6 to 9 months.
It's a lot faster than it used to be back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, it used to be
Used
like
to
a
be like a
full
full
on
year,
year.
yeah.
It used to be a full on year, but 173 days, so that's about 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
6 to 9 months is usually like the time for recovery.
6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a blessing in disguise because they'll be able to get OBJ back for cheap next season.
Very
I mean,
good point.
you guys think that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of the game quality that we see here, where does this rank all time to you guys amongst Super Bowls that you've seen and you've witnessed?
I think I don't think it's up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't think this is up there as greatest games of all time. But I think this was decent. This was solid. I'm not disappointed by this one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's Super Bowls where I was legitimately disappointed while watching because it didn't when they don't feel like games. It's like oh, cool. Like the Broncos versus the Seahawks Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was over within like the first 3 plays of the game. The ball goes over Peyton Manning's head, they're down 7-0, and then I think he throws a pick like the next possession or something. You're like, oh, this is over. Like,
Yeah.
this is absolutely
You can
over.
just tell it was a complete ass
I
whooping.
literally, that's the first Super Bowl that I actually just stopped watching. I remember I was at one of my neighbors' houses and we were just like hanging out, like, oh, the Super Bowl. I saw that play, I saw the pick, and then they scored on the next drive, I'm pretty sure. And I stopped. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like kind of peeking, and then I saw it got so out of hand that I didn't watch the rest of it. Every other Super Bowl I pretty much watched besides that one. But where this game ranks, I think it's in the above average, I would say. This was an above average Super Bowl, nothing crazy. Obviously, my favorite one to ever watch was the Seattle versus New England. That
Yes,
was my
sir,
favorite
baby.
one.
That's my favorite game of
yeah.
all
That's
time.
my favorite of
Yeah,
all
it's like
time.
a start to finish game. That's got to be number 1.
Yeah, 28-3 was good, and probably second. But I was way more because me personally had not seen a Patriots Super Bowl because we were like 3 when Brady won the first couple.
We missed the first half of the
Yeah,
dance.
we did. But like, I never got to see a Patriots Super Bowl like win, and I was hyped when they won that. 28-3 was really fun though. I loved 28-3.
yeah.
But it's an above average game for me. It was above average Super Bowl. It could have been worse. It could have been a lot better if we went to OT. Who knows? But
You'd say so too, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, slightly above average. It was competitive, so that's obviously good. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like the the Broncos, Seahawks, but it's good. I mean, 4-point game, right? So,
3-point game.
3-point
Yeah,
game.
23-20.
the only thing that I say didn't put this game up there is the third quarter was kind of a bore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The third quarter felt still. It was like okay, and also it was just bullshit too. You know what I mean? Like that offensive pass interference just didn't get called, and the Bengals. And it's like, oh my god, like is this really gonna be the story for this? Like that's gonna suck. And then it was competitive, and everyone kind of forgot about the OPI, and now everyone's really forgot about the OPI. So.
I know. So, I mean, I think to kind of go into, what really, like, the kind of the meat and potatoes section of this
So
episode.
post Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What's up next?
So, well, no. I'm going to give the Bengals credit. I think for what they had on their roster, I think they did as well as they could possibly do.
And more.
And more. Yeah, so...
This team might not have made the playoffs if the Ravens were healthy.
Exactly. No, not even that. But if John Harbaugh didn't make those bonehead decisions to go for 2 and win the game.
Yeah.
Okay, that was absolutely
if
ridiculous.
Lamar Jackson is healthy, the Bengals don't make the playoffs, I don't think. Unless the Raiders, hopefully don't slip in, but they did, so.
Who was the one who said the Raiders and Steelers are going to make it in? And all of you looked at me like I was crazy.
I could not believe it.
Hey,
but yeah.
Listen to me. Listen to me more often.
The fact that 2 AFC North teams made the playoffs is just.
Why are you sad?
That team only deserved 1. They deserved 1 playoff team.
Listen,
but
whatever.
I digress.
But anyways, okay.
Yeah.
So listen, before I rip into the Bengals here, let me just say with the personnel that they had, especially on that offensive line and the cornerbacks, not the secondary, because Von Bell and Jesse Bates are both very good.
Yeah.
Okay, they're safety duos. That's a very underrated low-key safety duo in my opinion. Okay.
Pretty good.
Cornerbacks, Chidibe Awuzie is their only good corner. Okay.
Apparently, it's Eli Apple.
Oh.
according to some people, Eli Apple's their best corner.
Who the hell's that?
Apparently, whoever runs that defense, because he was covering Cooper Kupp one-on-one.
Game of the game.
It was ridiculous.
And did you see all the backlash he was getting by everyone?
Yeah, it was
Twitter
awesome.
was going crazy.
Oh, it was
on
awesome.
Instagram everywhere.
Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman. It was.
And first of all, McCole Hardman, you sucked. Okay, you have.
Patrick Mahomes brought right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, but McCole Hardman has no room to talk any garbage because
fair,
he is equally as
he
bad.
had room to talk about anyone. It's against Eli Apple.
I guess, but listen, he freaking Eli. I'm sorry, McCole Hardman is like that little brother, and Tyreek Hill's the big brother. And when the big brother beats up the guy who was bullying the little brother, McCole Hardman's like, yeah, that's what McCole Hardman is. Okay, McCole Hardman sucks.
Okay. No, I get that. Yeah, it was hilarious to see all of that though. Eli Apple, I love seeing the meme where it's just a burnt piece of toast and it's like Eli Apple. That's one of my favorites because he is burnt toast. He got torched all game, literally all game. It was bad.
It was.
Cooper Kupp was all over that man. First of all, Matthew Stafford had that incredible throw too. By the way. That is a beauty.
That is one of the smartest things I have ever seen from a quarterback. That was beyond that IQ from Matthew Stafford out of this world.
Yeah.
Can I please just
when you see it actually broken down, when an analyst breaks it down, it's like wow. It's like he's looking here, he's looking off the safety. He continues to not look. He continues to not look, and he throws it in the slightest. When it was like, I'm just saying.
Oh, wait a minute.
If Mahomes did that, it would have been crazy.
Wait a minute. Who was I saying was doing no-look passes before Patrick Mahomes?
It was Stafford and Aaron Rodgers, man. It was those two.
Point proven! A lot. This was a great Super Bowl for me because I hate to be the I told you so cocky, arrogant guy, but I told you also.
No, you
don't. Mofos.
No, you don't. That's why you make the takes you do. No, you don't. Because when they land, I called it.
Well, listen, what's so gratifying is when all of you were like, "Oh my God, Conti, that's ridiculous."
I can't believe you predicted that. I can't. The Steelers and the Ravens might be your best take ever.
No, I think Ramondre Stevenson was my best.
That one was just that was crazy.
I couldn't believe it. I remember I texted you, Will. I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like,
"What is this?"
Better than you could have imagined.
Yeah. But anyways,
crazy.
I think that this Bengals defense. I don't know about you guys. Besides the cornerbacks, this Bengals defense is legit, man.
I like
Logan Wilson.
Oh, I loved him.
Logan Wilson is a field general.
His pursuit was amazing.
Yes.
A lot of those plays in the middle.
I think that Logan Wilson. We all saw.
Too.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. What Logan Wilson in particular, because we all knew Hendrickson and we all knew that freaking what's his name? The other DN. Yeah, Sam Hubbard is good, and we all knew that Ed combo was really goddamn good. Okay, Logan Wilson, this was his coming out party. Yeah, he had an excellent game, and I think that he's a great field general, and he's going to continue to improve. And especially now that the Bengals have had this run, they're going to be more in the public eye.
We need to chill on the Luke Kuechly takes.
Yeah, did you see Nick Patton say that?
We need to chill on that. We need to chill on. He's giving me Luke Kuechly but we can't just call every white linebacker who is like a field general Luke Kuechly. We can't do that.
Tim Keeley, Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, for real. We can't
Tim
call
Keeley's a
every-
dude from Weymouth who played for the
Okay.
linebacker.
we can't do that with every single person.
We can't.
But
But I mean, he had a great game.
they have a similar play style for sure.
Yeah, and something that is going to upset me is I think that the Bengals, unfortunately, are not going to emphasize the cornerback position all that much
They won't.
in the offseason. I think that their most glaring need is the offensive line, which we'll get into. Okay, but I think that unfortunately that's going to, in terms of the corners, they're not going to be signing too many people there. And want to know what that's going to do? Everyone's going to be like, oh, the Bengals defense sucks. No, it's just the cornerbacks. So can we just please say for the record right now that this Bengals defense, everybody besides Eli Apple and Chidibe Awuzie, who is good but not great, okay, everyone else is pretty goddamn good, and that's a stout defense.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So please, like, let's all make an agreement, like the three of us, and then whoever the hell's listening. Okay, please, if the secondary, specifically the corners, is the problem next year, let's all agree and remember this conversation. The
Yeah,
Bengals
no,
defense
absolutely.
is good. Okay.
Yes. And they do have a solid defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they held Kansas City. They held a lot of good teams to a few points. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely slept on when you're like the general public's always thinking about that offense, and then you forget about the defense, another half of the side, and then they held them all the way through till the Super Bowl. One play could have changed the game, you know?
Yeah.
I know defense is 33.3% of the game. So yeah, Bengals run D was amazing. Yes, I completely agree.
great.
Cam
It was
Akers
great.
couldn't get anything
No.
going.
Yeah.
And Cam Akers is known to be one of the better up and coming rising running backs in the league.
No,
So I mean,
stuffed.
so let me just tell you, if they do not, so if they don't like address the corners, they're screwed. Okay, in the public eye, they're screwed. Unfortunately, okay.
What's gonna happen if they don't address the elephant in the room, Gino?
Never, ever underestimate the importance of an offensive lineman.
Here we go.
Never.
There we
Okay?
go.
If Joe Burrow was as good as everyone made him out to be, he wouldn't need Jamar Chase to make it to the Super Bowl.
Come on!
He wouldn't.
Come on!
He wouldn't.
Conti!
He wouldn't. He wouldn't.
Conti!
Okay, everyone was like, oh, I've done this already. Oh, Joe Shiesty, Joe Barrel. Okay, everyone and their grandmother and their great-grandmother in the grave was doing that. Okay, if Joe Burrow was as good as everyone made him out to be, he wouldn't have needed Jamar Chase. He wouldn't have.
That's bogus.
If they took Penei Sewell, he wouldn't have gotten sacked nearly as much all year.
But that
And
offense wouldn't have been nearly as explosive.
why not? Oh, why not? If Joe Burrow's so damn good, right?
What do you-
Joe Burrow would have
You
been.
need whipping.
He's Joe Burrow. He's
Okay.
Joe Shiesty. What's wrong with Tyler Boyd? He's
They're
one of the most
okay.
underrated players in the league, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Yeah, but
T.
Jamar
Higgins,
Chase,
T.
Jamar
Higgins
Chase
had a
elevates
breakout
this
season.
to a whole nother
He
level.
does. He elevates it for sure. And
He's
I'm
like a
not-
generational talent wide receiver.
He's a great. Listen, he's had one season. Let's not. Let's not jizz
Conti,
our-
he had the
let's
best
not jizz
rookie
our pants.
receiving season ever.
Listen, let's see. They're playing with house money this year, and I'm telling you, they're playing with house money. Let's see what happens next season when everyone knows the Bengals are going to be good. They game plan very, very specifically
Okay, so
for Burrow and
was,
Chase.
What was this year? Did they just forget that Burrow and Chase played together at LSU? And
It's a
were
new
great?
entity. It's a new entity. They don't
Yeah,
have a
but,
year
like,
of film.
to an extent.
I'm telling you, they don't have film.
But you know where he's gonna go.
What's up?
You knew where Burrow was gonna go.
No,
you
because
know
he
he's
had
looking for Jamar.
He had. Like, listen, Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are, and especially like I love Tyler Boyd. He's an above-average receiver.
take Conti.
T. Higgins is going to be.
Horrible.
I think T. Higgins at some point in this. I think he's going to be a multi-time Pro Bowler.
Oh, come on.
You don't think
Gino.
T. Higgins is that capable?
Come on. He's a good jump ball player, but come on.
No. T. Higgins is capable of being a multi-time Pro Bowler.
I don't know about that.
We'll never see when Jamar Chase is the number one receiver.
That's true.
Yeah,
we're not gonna
and
see it.
let me tell you
He'll always
something
be
right
the
now.
number one.
Joe Burrow, out of the 4 playoff games this season, had one good game. One.
Gino, come on. man.
One.
Come on. If we're doing this, if we're gonna go through the early parts of their career, Tom Brady didn't have a single good game in 2001 besides that last drive.
I'm not talking. Well, listen. I'm
If,
not
like,
talking
if we're
about
gonna-
Tom
if
Brady.
we're gonna do,
this
like,
is
the
this is
playoff
the
runs and compare
problem.
'em like
This is the
this.
problem. I don't know if everybody here saw my post on Conti Nich a couple of about a week ago or like a little bit less than a week ago.
Tom Brady and Joe Burrow are not the same. I just
The-
want to say
they're
but
not.
If we want to compare young careers and be like, oh, well, Joe Burrow in this playoff run only had one good game. Tom Brady didn't have any. In that 2001
listen,
season.
we-
And I'm not
we-
making that comparison just because I think that they play
Look
the
at this.
same
See,
way.
Cam Tate said T. Higgins is special.
He's okay. He's a good dude.
I think
He's a
T.
good
Higgins
player.
is going to be a multi-time Pro
Look,
Bowler.
I'm saying when we compare like careers like that, I don't like saying, oh, Joe Burrow's the next Tom Brady. That's not what I'm saying at all. But when you look at it in the perspective of, okay, Joe Burrow is a very good player. He's on a good team. He's got a great receiving core around him. He's got a good running back. The offensive line sucks.
Whoa. How do you say T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are both okay, and then he has a great receiving core
He has a
around
great
him?
receiving core.
Wait, you just said that Boyd and Higgins were okay.
Yeah, they're good.
No, you just said they
You
were
mix
okay.
one great with two goods, and that makes a great record.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
I'm not saying T. Higgins sucks. I think
I
he's
know
a
you're not.
really
I know
good
you're not.
wide
I know
receiver.
you're not saying he
And
sucks.
I've agreed with you. Tyler Boyd's underrated. When you put all those pieces together,
And
it
Uzomah.
makes a great receiver.
Uzomah's
Uzomah's
solid
good.
too.
He's
Yeah,
good too.
he slept on
I'm just
by
saying,
the
when you have this, when you have a receiving core like that, Burrow doesn't need to play amazing. You know, like I said, he had one game where he won the game for them. Right?
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
And
He won that game.
and what did I do? I came on here and I said, Joe Burrow, you deserve absolute credit for
Yeah,
that.
he won that
I'm
game.
taking the listen.
But he didn't lose any games.
No, he didn't lose.
He
and-
himself did not lose them the game.
And like I said,
You know what I
and here's the thing: I never am here saying that Joe Burrow lost any games. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that he sucks. I'm not saying anything, and I've said that multiple times. And I'm not saying it's you guys. I'm getting
Yes.
sick of explaining to you guys, but I'm getting sick of me personally just explaining it.
That's fair.
Joe Burrow, okay, is going to be a good talent. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback for years to come if the Bengals address that
I
offensive
don't
line.
even know if he ranks top 5 in quarterbacks right now.
No,
like
no, absolutely
he doesn't-
not.
But here's
Absolutely
my thing
not.
with the
Not right now.
quarterback
Not right
position.
now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
With the quarterback position, people think, oh, we need that top 5 guy. No. In my opinion, you need around a top 15 to top 10 quarterback to win, and that's iffy. You need a top 10 guy. I think you do.
Yeah.
But you don't need that top 5 guy, but you need one of those guys, which I think people they get upset when like Lamar Jackson, I don't think is better than Josh Allen or Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers.
Lamar isn't.
Or I don't think it. And people get upset. They're like, oh, but he's such a good talent. Like, yeah, Lamar is amazing, but the quarterback, it's hard to be one
He's
of
a
the top
great
5 guys.
athlete. He's not a great quarterback.
I think he's a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
He's a great athlete.
I think he's a good quarterback. I don't know what you mean.
Do you think he could make any throw you ask of him? Lamar Jackson?
I think it depends.
When the
I
defensive
don't,
coordinator,
I don't think he can make some of the ridiculous throws, but I do think his athleticism brings a whole nother dynamic to an offense that we haven't seen.
But what does it say?
And yes, that includes Michael Vick.
What does it attest to a quarterback's talent if a defensive coordinator in crunch time's plan is to make the quarterback throw?
It depends. I mean, his best asset is his legs, but Lamar's only gonna get better, man. He's only gonna get better.
If he
And
stays
that's
on
what
the
I think.
field, I think Lamar's going to be out of
Yeah.
the league in 3 years.
And I disagree with
In
that.
terms, not because of talent, in terms of injuries.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like to go back to the quarterback thing, you need one of those top guys. Like, is Mac Jones like a top 10 quarterback in the league? Probably
Absolutely not. Absolutely
no,
not.
No,
I'd say he's a top
will he
15, top
get
16
there?
right now.
Sure. Will he get there? Yes. Can we win a Super Bowl with Mac Jones at quarterback? Absolutely. I
We
think
had a
so.
chance to this year.
Yeah.
When I say chance, like I just mean like in a literal term, like we being in the playoffs, we had a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Remember that
But, like,
quarterback
you know what I mean?
tier list that we made? Anyone
I can't wait for that to come.
That's
going
gonna be a good video. Anyone on my list that I think is half of C, the upper half of C, and up, I believe can be a quarterback on a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
I think so. I think you can win with those guys. So Joe Burrow, I think he can be. We've seen it. He can be a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Well,
Absolutely, he
Can
can.
I just say this? So Joe
And he
Burrow,
doesn't need to do anything crazy to do it. He just
So-
needs to play well.
Joe Burrow in this game, okay, without that 75-yard touchdown, which was ridiculous, like a missed call, a blown call by the official.
It was bad.
T. Higgins, I know we just gave him praise, but he face masked the you-know-what out of Jalen Ramsey, okay?
And he got away with it,
Yeah,
too.
he
That's
got
the
away
other
with it.
half of
It was so stupid, and he should not have gotten away with it, okay? If he didn't make that pass, or if the referee called that and then the play got called back, Joe Burrow would have had a 188-yard throwing game, okay? I give Joe Burrow credit in the sense for the first 3 quarters of the game, he got the ball out before the defense was able to get to him. Okay, but what really happened in crunch time? What happened? What came through for the Rams? They started doing their stunts. I don't know if you saw one of the stunts, Will, that they were doing, but it was beautiful. So all game long, right? Their plan was to turn the center to whatever side of the ball Aaron Donald was on. So for a split second, the offensive guard would have Aaron Donald one-on-one.
And then it
but
would go to the tackle.
if no one was bull rushing, then he would turn to Aaron Donald. So that way it would kind of be like a
And then they
delayed
threw
double
stunts
team.
where the outside guy was going to the
Yes,
middle and AD got
yes,
one-on-ones.
exactly. And that's
I
what
watched the
happened.
D-line, man. Come on.
I'm not questioning you. I'm just explaining.
Let's go.
I love it, baby. Hell yes. Big boys stick together, baby.
Am I like a quarterback guy? Yes, but
Yeah.
I do watch the
Yeah. So I gave a rating. I don't remember what you gave it, Andrew, but Will, I remember yours was pretty average as well, right? Like the rating, like how would you rate Joe Burrow's Super Bowl performance?
Yes.
Some people put it almost close to the top, which I think is wrong.
No.
Okay, I think he had an average to
Yeah,
below
average.
average Super Bowl.
Sure.
Okay, like an average
fair.
game that you could call below average. Okay, 188
I would
yards.
say we would call this above average if he won the game, but I think it's slightly below average because he lost the game.
Yes.
'Cause like I said, he didn't do anything to win the game, but he didn't do anything to lose it either. Like, he didn't have that mistake where you're like, oh, ball game, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
some of that can be attested to, okay, he had no time to throw the ball.
Well,
to.
whose fault is that?
I mean, it's not his.
It's the Cincinnati Bengals' fault.
Absolutely, yeah.
So why are we here? This is my question. Why is everybody here showing Joe Burrow sympathy and giving Joe Burrow sympathy? Oh, he had no time. Oh, he had no time.
He had no time.
My man.
So it's factual. He didn't.
Well, we all know. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a complete fact that he didn't. But they had the chance to resolve that issue, and they neglected it.
That's true.
They neglected to do it.
But here's my
and
thing.
then what
They-
happened?
They don't make a Super Bowl without Jamar Chase. They don't.
But
They straight up don't.
Here's the thing. I agree.
Okay.
As we like, you might be saying, "Oh, what?" But I agree. But if Joe Burrow was as good as everybody, maybe not you guys, okay, but if Joe Burrow was as great as everybody here was hyping him up to
people
be,
put him on the level of like Mahomes.
Dude,
he's not
Yeah.
yet. I think he could be up to that type of talent when he sees more defense. First of all, Joe Burrow is already elite at reading defenses. That is the one thing that his arm is average, maybe a little above average in my opinion. His ball placement is good. It's gonna get to great in my opinion. His reading of the defenses is elite. That's the one thing I'll say. Joe Burrow is probably top 10 to top 5 in the league at doing. The way he processes defenses is elite. It's better than Mac Jones right now, and Mac is really good at
yeah.
it.
So let me tell you. So, and when you say that he was like Joe Burrow would not make the Super Bowl without Jamar Chase, let me clarify. I actually agree. Okay, I do.
fair.
But again, why if
They did pass on Sewell.
Yeah, here's the
And
thing.
we criticized
They
it.
passed on Sewell, and yes, you and I both criticized it. Well, I did you criticize it too, Andrew?
I mean, there was the LSU connection with Chase, so I could see why. But
Yeah.
at the same point, looking back, all the sacks.
I will say I overlooked Jamar Chase's talent.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I thought he was a good prospect. I thought he would be good on Dolphins. I thought he would have a good year on the Lions. And I think he would have like a good year on the Panthers.
I had Jamar Chase going to the Panthers, I believe.
Yes, so
in my
I
first
thought
ever
that
mock
that's
draft.
where he was going to land, but I overlooked his talent, and when they drafted him, all I saw was, oh, they're just getting Burrow's buddy, and I overlooked the talent that he actually had. So,
Yeah. So-
apologies to Jamar Chase, but I mean, it made sense at the time. I'll never apologize for a take that I made that had good logic and reasoning.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was that deserved to be criticized.
So
Were we
again,
wrong? Yes. Who knew Jamar Chase was going to have the best rookie receiving season ever? No one.
So again, here's my question that's posed to you guys. I agree. Yes, without Jamar, they don't make it. But if he was as good as the media says he is, then why would he need Jamar Chase?
You need to get off the media, man. You need to
Then
get.
why would he? Then why would? Well, listen. What sports is like in terms of the games? What do you go to pretty much immediately after? Sports besides the game, not just football.
Yeah.
Sports besides the actual games that you visualize and you see, it's all media.
That's true.
It's all media.
But here's the thing: the
Yeah.
media gets what is trendy and what gets clicks.
Hot in here,
It's
bro.
I know, right?
Gotta take off my.
They do what gets clicks, though. You know what I mean?
Bro.
They do what gets clicks. Joe Burrow, and I explained why last time.
I know. Listen, I'm not here questioning, but
he gets a lot of media attention. So people, and it's not like, does everyone really think that Joe Burrow is the next coming of? Maybe if they do,
Jesus Christ.
If they do, like, they're wrong. Like, he's not the next Tom Brady. He, in my opinion, will probably never be as good as Tom Brady.
Nobody ever will.
Exactly.
Nobody ever will. What we have seen from Tom Brady is the most unprecedented run in the history of sports. Nobody will ever come close to it. And if it does, then we're all going to be 6 feet under. Okay,
Yeah,
because
no,
we're not going to see it in our lifetime.
We're not going to see it.
Okay, like we're not
That's
going to see
crazy.
it. And do you remember what I posted last week? They were like, the headline of a YouTube video was, is Joe Montana the next, I'm sorry, is Joe Burrow the next Joe Montana? And I said,
dude,
can we please stop?
That's awful. Stuff like that is awful, and they do that because it's gonna get clicks. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's gonna get attention. And people like Joe Burrow. Andrew, I don't know if you heard this. Joe Burrow is trendy because number one, he's cool, right?
Yeah.
He's
So
just
shiesty.
a cool. Yeah, he's a cool dude. He's got a funny nickname. He's not losing football games, and also women love him. Those are like the top 3 to 4 reasons of why Joe Burrow is popular, and people, they ride with that. You know what I mean? He's cool in interviews. He's got a little bit of swagger to him, and people like that.
I will say I did a social experiment and I texted about 5 girls and I'm like, who you got winning the Super Bowl? And they're all like, the Bengals. I go, let me guess, Joe Burrow. Yep.
I told you. I told you. That's all it is. So people, they like to, Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow. They love that stuff. It's just what it is. This is what the media is always going to be. They're cringy with Brady. They're cringy with Joe Burrow. They're cringy with everything. It's gonna be. Can you imagine what it's gonna be like when LeBron retires? Oh my god!
I don't know.
I can't stand the first
Whose
week
dick is the
of
league
every
gonna suck
season.
then?
Probably Luka. That's my guess. But look,
I love Luka though. So
I do like Giannis.
I'd be fine with that. Yeah, probably Giannis. Honestly, probably Giannis.
Every year we get the exact same post from like Bleacher Report, ESPN, and House of Highlights. It's LeBron getting like a wide open dunk.
Hey yo,
and then-
LeBron's drinking Gatorade.
No, and then it's whatever year it is for him, and then the crown and a fire emoji. Like this year it was like year 18, and it's like a wide open dunk.
Bro, and then you see like Malik Monk in the comments. Hey yo, yeah, that's my bro. He the truth. I'm like, all right. First of all, Paul Pierce is the truth, and second of all, shut up, Malik Monk.
It's what it's going to be. Though.
Or what's the guy?
it's just
Austin
how it's
Reeves is his
something
name.
like-
Or
Yeah, I love Austin
Reeves. Shut the fuck up, Austin Reeves.
I think he went to the G League. Like,
Did he?
next game, like,
Oh, who's that guy? Andre Ingram, or
Yeah.
from the G League on the Lakers.
He popped off that one game.
Yeah, one game.
Yeah.
Dude was like 32 and had gray hair.
Oh, man.
He popped off for one game. The crowd went nuts, and it just didn't do anything afterwards.
Nah, for real. He deserved though. He's in the G League forever.
I know,
But yeah, the Bengals do deserve criticism because they're getting their guy. Joe Burrow had an MCL, right? That's what the injury was?
yeah, I
That's
think
what they were
so.
saying today.
They're gonna get this man killed.
Yeah,
They're gonna get him killed.
I don't.
They need an O-line.
So I
they
don't-
can't maybe we should go for a tight end. No, O-line. Strictly O-line from here on out.
And this is a deep offensive line class too. So
Yeah.
they really
Oh,
have. They really have
with
no
this
excuse.
draft class, guys are gonna fall. I think this is a super defensive heavy draft class, and Gino's gonna love it. He's gonna go crazy.
And
about it.
offensive linemen.
Yeah, the O linemen are like, you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
dude, Evan Neal, Charles Cross, man,
Sure,
they got some
sure.
players.
But my thing is, when top guys go like that, there's gonna be guys who sneak under the radar. You know
Oh,
what
of
I mean?
course.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna
There
get
always are every year.
exactly. But like last year, what slipped under the radar really well? The corners. You know what I mean? Everyone was going quarterback. That you have. These receivers who went later that, did well. Like Bateman went later. He did
He
pretty
was
well.
okay.
But you know what I mean? Like you'll get serviceable guys late. You know
Well,
what
yeah,
I mean?
because the league is horny for quarterbacks.
Exactly.
And I'm not
But,
criticizing. It's
no, but
it's the reality.
It's the truth,
you know?
but
Yeah.
that's how heavy the draft class was for quarterbacks. This year, there might not be a quarterback picked in like the first 20 picks.
I hope
Like-
there isn't one. I hope every quarterback goes undrafted.
Okay.
And I hope it's just
the only one
offensive
that I
linemen.
can see going early is like Matt Corral, but
I like Matt Corral.
or the kid from Pitt. I forget his name, but
Kenny Pickett.
yes,
Kenny Pickett, and there's another guy like Malik Willis who's pretty good too.
But like no one cares.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so this draft is very defensive heavy, specifically like edge rushers with like Thibodeau and linebackers. They're super heavy towards that. There's a good few corners in there.
Aiden Henderson.
Yes, absolutely. And for the Patriots, I mean,
Aiden Hutchinson, not Aiden Henderson.
Yeah, I knew.
Aiden Henderson's a receiver on the Wayne Wildcats.
But here's my thing with this draft: guys are going to fall because of how heavy it is. If like last year it was a quarterback heavy draft, people are going to go up to get quarterbacks, and others are going to fall. this draft, people who need defensive linemen are going to go up to get defensive linemen,
Which I love.
And then it becomes competitive over those D linemen though. So you have guys who slip. There's going to be a really good receiver who slips in. I'm telling you, there's going to be a receiver picked in like the 20 to 30 range who's going to win Rookie of the Year. And it could be
That's pretty bold.
I think Mechie, if he falls, John Mechie from Alabama, if he falls to the Patriots, that's game. That dude could be really, really good.
I mean, would you rather us address the corners though?
No, I think receivers.
I think receiver isn't as glaring as a need as secondary.
I think it is. Because we need, and we disagree on this. We've talked about it before. We need that guy.
That's
we
not how this offense is constructed.
What do you mean? There's always been that guy.
When have we ever had, besides Randy Moss, name a true number one outside deep receiving threat that we've had? Besides Randy Moss.
Listen, you're talking about how other teams do it. Another one that is not the way the Patriots do it. I agree. But
then why do we need it?
No, because we've always had a guy who's been reliable, been able to move the chains if you need him. It's Edelman, Gronk. You've always had people like that. You always had. When Troy Brown back in the day, you always had that guy.
But Brown, Branch, Welker, Edelman, these are all guys who could play the outside, but their strength, maybe a little bit lesser to the degree of Troy Brown, was the slot. Randy Moss is the true, in terms of receivers, I get Gronk was a tight end, okay, was the true number one vertical push down the field.
That's the
what
only
happened?
Time we've
we tried it with Ocho Cinco. We tried
Didn't work.
Didn't work.
No.
See, we tried it with Ocho Cinco. It didn't work.
We tried it with
Brandon Lloyd. He was okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but for all intents and purposes, I don't know. Would you agree, Andrew? It didn't work. Right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If Malcolm Mitchell stayed healthy, he would be that guy right now.
Randy Moss. He would be like Randy Moss.
He would be insane.
Yeah,
he was
good.
He would not be insane.
He would be
good.
So talented.
He'd be good.
He was so talented.
He'd still be on the team now, and he'd be producing.
He would be our wide receiver.
He would not be Randy Moss.
No, I don't mean he would be Randy Moss, but he would be our wide receiver one.
Yeah, he would be
in terms of he would be that reliable guy that would make the third down plays.
Okay, fine.
But
when you Andrew
Kendrick Bourne is not that guy.
But Will,
Hunter
when you
Henry's
say
not that guy, we don't have it.
But when you say that guy, Will, when you say that guy, the way I interpret it is a Randy Moss. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, that guy. Like, what is okay? Yeah, I agree, and I acknowledge the talent of Jamar Chase. He's that guy for the Bengals.
Well, I think you can have a wide receiver one without having him be a super vertical deep threat. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, obviously you can.
Debo Samuel is their number one, and he is more of he could be a running back. It's insane.
But when you say that guy, I think of talent. You know what I mean?
And I think we need someone like that.
I mean, yes, I would love Debo Samuel, but I don't think we need that outside, because look, we're trying with N'Keal Harry. Lord knows it's not working.
The N'Keal Harry pick sent us back like 5 years. Like, it's ridiculous.
All right, I wouldn't go that far.
Dude, N'Keal, could you imagine?
Playoffs.
Could you imagine if this offense had Terry McLaurin
I'd love Terry
DK
McLaurin.
or Debo Samuel or any of those guys?
We wouldn't be that good with DK Metcalf.
Oh, come on.
DK Metcalf is incapable of learning a very complex, structured playbook.
All right.
We've been over that. So, anyways, going back to the Cincinnati Bengals, okay? Does anybody here have any sort of sympathy for them? Because in crunch time, what happened? No, they did not win because of that offensive line. At some point, at some time, this was going to come back to bite the Bengals in the ass. It did not. It didn't come through for them. It did not. I'm sorry. I'm trying to explain this the right way. The glaring weakness did not really and truly show until the bright lights were the brightest. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jamar Chase got him there. It's great. Okay. Whatever. They had a great season. They got a lot of clicks on YouTube. Guess what? Didn't get a lot of clicks on YouTube. The offensive line. Guess what would have saved them and won them a Super Bowl? The offensive line.
No, it wouldn't have, Conti.
I don't think they could have.
They don't make to the Super Bowl.
Jamar Chase.
I did say that, but guess what? Maybe if they even signed someone. Okay, if they signed someone, they would have been fine. They would have been fine. I'm telling you.
Incorrect.
Jonah Williams
First of all,
sucks.
They need a left tackle. They
No,
desperately
Jonah
need
Williams.
a left tackle.
Jonah Williams is their left tackle, and he's the only serviceable guy on
Move
that
them
line.
to the right.
Yeah.
They
And
need a left tackle. Like,
listen,
so badly do they need a left
but
tackle.
here's the thing. I wouldn't be so angry about this, too, if they didn't then, in the second round, draft Jackson Carman out of Clemson, who had a 4th-round grade, and they drafted him early in the second round. Jackson Carman. You want okay? Who was still on the board? Tevin Jenkins was still on the board. He struggled a little bit, but guess what? He has upside, and I believe he will develop. Okay, who was still on the board? Larry Borum. He's a big, tough son of a bitch. He would have been great on the Cincinnati Bengals. In my opinion. Okay, he's a great right tackle. I know they need a left tackle, but Jonah Williams is fine. Okay, their guards. Please, for the love of God, address your guards. The centers. Please, for the love of God, address your center.
The interior is horrible.
Exactly.
It's awful.
Please.
Even worse was when they got pressure off the edge, man. It was game over.
Yeah, and see, one thing with that drafting Jackson Carman was to me, it was like, see, guys, we're trying, right? See, guys, we're trying.
We addressed the offensive
Yeah, see,
line.
we did it.
Now look at the
And guess what?
LSU North
He
connection.
didn't even play. He was the 6th guy. He was like that extra offensive lineman. They played him there for a short bit at right guard. What you usually do with a rookie tackle is you move him to the opposite side guard. Okay, because that kind of acclimates him into the league and doesn't put him like in the spotlight right away.
Unless you're Isaiah Wynn.
Yeah,
Go out there.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Said Bill Belichick,
and guess
probably.
What? He sucked so bad he couldn't even stay. He got demoted by a guy who ended up being a backup. He got demoted and he got replaced with a backup.
The only thing that would have made this Bengals O-line worse was Daniel Newhouse.
Marshall Newhouse. Don't say that name on this podcast. But I mean, like, I have zero sympathy. They should have they should have addressed the offensive line this year. Rashawn Slater and Penei Sewell have been 2 amazing players so far.
They're gonna get one this year. They are. But honestly, I'll take a Super Bowl appearance.
And what happens if they don't? Let me say that. What happens if they don't?
We're gonna raise hell, man. Joe
Open
Burrow.
up a can of whoop ass.
No, then Joe Burrow is gonna be out of the league before Lamar Jackson.
So,
that's what's gonna happen if they don't address the.
I really don't watch a lot of ESPN, but Dan Orlovsky, he brought up a really good point. He said that Joe Burrow is on his way to being Andrew Luck.
Yeah, he is.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
It's a very valid point for sure. They need to address this right now because I mean they definitely could have last year, but I don't know.
Not even with the 5th pick, they could have gone someone in the 2nd round.
So and let me tell you something. Even if they did draft, well they did. We all know that. Okay, but even if they had their draft where there was Jamar Chase, they should have given up another 1st-round pick, in my opinion, or 2nd and the 3rd. Okay, to get into that top 13, because I believe Rashawn Slater went 13. Yes, with Elijah Vera Tucker. They should have done. They should have done what the Jets
he's
did.
He's gonna be an animal.
Yeah, Elijah Vera Tucker's good.
His run blocking is beautiful.
Yes, so
he needs to work on the pass.
He needs to get a little bit stronger, Elijah Vera Tucker, but he held his own. Okay, he definitely
he
held his
wasn't a
own.
liability at all. But imagine when that dude gets an off season with NFL strength coaches.
Yep,
he's gonna be great.
Absolutely,
he's got like that Quentin
Nelson
type of pulling ability. When he pulls, it's game. Like if he gets even a linebacker, like he's pancake. Like he is a big dude. He just needs to get stronger, and he's fast. That's the other thing too.
Yeah. So I mean, in my opinion, I have no sympathy because they should have done what the freaking Jets did. They should have traded up and they should have gotten Slater Sewell. I believe at that time was taken. He went 7th or 8th, I believe, to the Lions.
7th,
yeah. So they should have taken Rashawn Slater or Christian Darrisaw. Or Elijah Vera Tucker. Yeah. To me, in my opinion, there was no excuse.
Those guys all went in the top 15, though.
No, Darrisaw, I believe, went either 17 or 21.
No, they or
20, either 17 or 21.
He went to the Vikings, right?
Yes, Christian Darrisaw
because the Vikings traded back because the Bears traded up to Fields. Gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in my opinion, that's what they should have done. Everyone's going to be like, oh, we had no help. He had no help. Whose fault is that? Nobody but the Bengals. Yeah. It's not like they were going to reach. Okay, like Jackson Carman, yes, they reached in the 2nd round, okay? Tevin Jenkins, and then I believe there was another guy who went to the 49ers. I think it was something Brown. Yeah. Okay, he was a 2nd round. He was a solid player for them as well. Okay, or you're telling me they couldn't have traded their second round pick to get a decent enough guy, like a veteran or something? They could have and should have
they need to
done
address it this
something.
year. They have to.
Something.
Number one
They have
priority
to.
for sure.
Yeah.
Has to be.
And that's just the Bengals being the Bengals, where it's like, oh, but like, oh, we have Jamar Chase, and look, they played at LSU together. And while that was like a meme, like it worked. So
All I'm gonna say is if Joe Mixon didn't throw that touchdown, and if the referees made the right call and called the offensive pass interference, the Bengals only score 6 points in that Super Bowl. And Joe Burrow only 3. And Joe, well, I'm saying statistically, I'm being serious, because then there was 2 field goals and then 2 touchdowns.
Now we're
right?
doing a big what if. What if I was in the NFL? Like it's
no, that's not. No,
I'd be better than Brady.
Listen,
like,
if
we're just playing the what if.
We're
game
not.
now.
I'm not reaching here when I say like if the ref made that call correctly, that's a touchdown they miss. And then if freaking Joe Mixon doesn't convert on that trick play, because that's a trick play, then that's 14 points easily off the board. Then
But
Joe
they
Burrow
make that
in
up
no way,
somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, man.
I think they do.
So I mean,
I think they do,
I know we're starting to wrap up and wind down here,
well,
but there's
hold on,
kind of one more question. Do you think Aaron Donald's gonna retire? Because I heard some speculation about that.
I'll say this: I would be sad if he retired because I still think that he has football left in him. But I would completely understand, and he's a Hall of Famer. Like it's not even a question. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Andrew, what do you say?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Will says. He definitely has a couple more years left, but he called it quits right now, you know.
But do you think he's
It's
gonna?
respectable.
But do you think he's gonna retire?
I think he might.
I think he probably will.
I think it's 50-50, honestly.
I hope he doesn't, man. Like
I hope that he doesn't, but I will say, and I was talking to D'Lo about this, I think literally 2 nights ago. I would rather see Aaron Donald go out now than go out in 2 years with an injury. That's what I would rather see.
I mean, he was drafted in 2014, so I mean, it's not like he's an ancient fossil.
No,
it's
but
not like it's Ray Lewis on a swan
that's
song.
fair.
You know what I mean?
But like he is older, you know what I mean?
A little bit.
And,
Yeah,
like,
he's definitely an established vet by this
defensive
point.
line guys, they don't last very long, man.
Vince Wilfork got something to say about
Yeah,
that.
okay, Vince Wilfork, and like that's it. Like they don't last very long.
John Randall,
Sure,
Deacon
okay,
Jones.
but most of the time they don't last till like past 35. I just don't.
Oh,
think it
past
happens.
35, probably. I'd say no, probably not.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
but-
Aaron Donald's 30. Like he's getting. While I still
wouldn't
think
be
he
a
has good
terrible
years of football. It wouldn't be like when Luke Kuechly decided to call it quits. At
Or
like
Patrick
28.
Willis.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like that where it's like, oh, like why he had so many more years left. Like Aaron Donald probably has, I think 2, maybe 3 good years left. Where
I'd say about 3.
he's got that range. So I wouldn't mind right now if he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go out on top. I'm gonna go out a champ. He is a Hall of Famer. Now he's a first ballot Hall of Famer at that. He should be. Dude's an animal. And people who don't think, I was having an argument with a bozo, by the way. He's not gonna be named, but he goes here. An absolute bozo about the value of Aaron Donald. He thinks that Aaron Donald's overrated and has no use. I'm like,
He's not overrated.
but he's like, oh, people like Aaron Donald's crazy. Like he didn't put up stats. I'm like, yeah, he was getting triple teamed. They're like, how often does he get triple teamed? I'm like, more often than you would actually believe.
I will say though, I do not believe that he's the defensive GOAT. I still think it's Lawrence Taylor.
I still think it's Lawrence Taylor.
I
Yeah,
think
you
it's
can agree
Lawrence
with that.
Taylor, and I think you.
He didn't even have the best defensive season. But you know what it took for him to not have the best defensive season? Someone breaking the sack record. That's all.
TJ Watt, baby.
That's all it is. He deserved it too. TJ Watt deserved it. But Aaron Donald is phenomenal, and he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I couldn't even believe he's like, if Aaron Donald gets a 1-on-1 and he only gets like 2 a game.
We saw. Did you see him absolutely
just
bulldoze that guard?
knocked him over.
I don't even know his name. That's how bad that
The
guard is.
amount
By
of
the way.
one-on-ones that Aaron Donald gets in a game, you can count on one hand. Like it is ridiculous, and probably you're not
Count on one hand with fingers to spare.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous, and he wins them. If it's a one-on-one, he automatically. It's not close. He wins.
Yeah.
He automatically. If it's a double team,
Dominate.
if it's a double team, like you're pushing it. Like that's the thing.
You're on thin ice, pal.
No, like you are. Like the amount of times I've seen Aaron Donald get double teamed, push 2 grown men and part the Red Seas, and then reach his bear claw and just grab a quarterback. It's insane.
Moses Donald.
No, no, actually, like that's not even an over exaggeration. He just bullies people, man. It's crazy. But yes, he's a Hall of Famer,
So,
and
I
I wouldn't
mean-
mind him calling it quits.
With all this talk about retirement, you know, as big as we may ever get as a podcast, we don't know. We don't have any way to measure that. But, you know, one thing that will never retire is our ability at the end of a show to say, John Bro!